To quote Kierkegaard, life can only be understood backwards, but must be lived forwards. Today's all about switch flips. This is called the Switch Flip Mixtape. I think it's a great trick to show someone's prowess on the board switch. A Keenan Milton, a Zered Bassett. Hey, even a Moose is in this. So shout out to the guy who said Moose. Anyway, let's backtrack to last week really quickly when I slightly hyperbolically and mostly seriously talked shit on Eric Costin, and only 3 or 4 of you said anything. I grew up with Costin, a.k.a. Frostin, being my favorite skater my whole entire youth. I love the guy. I just don't think he has style. Anyway, a bonus this episode, we will start with me doing switch flips. I'm going to break down and talk shit on my own skating because those who can't do talk or some bullshit like that, well, when it comes to switch flips, I can do. So let's go. This first one's going downhill. I don't like how it kind of rocketed. Off that curb was pretty decent, but I heel clicked. Don't like the way that was filmed behind me. Nollie backside flip was pretty decent. Switch flip, one of the best I have on film. Terrible backtail fakie on these Berkeley ledges, but a decent switch heel flip. I'll take that line. And then off this bump in Oakland, I didn't like the heel clicking. Anyway, let's get into Brad Cromer. Welcome to Crooked Part. One of my favorite switch flips ever. I love how he lands with all his force after a perfect flick and just kind of stands up right there. Absolutely perfect. Every single one of these will be regular motion, slow-mo, regular. Huge one by Moose in the Deathwish video. Kind of weird how his feet didn't move at all. Kind of different from a John Dixon, but beautiful nonetheless. It was huge. How about a flat ground one from Saari? This is Bastien's Salabanzi. I like how he sets up his back foot kind of in the pocket there. And the way he catches it here, beautiful looking switch push first off. It kind of rockets, weird setup on it, but he lands it so good. He's like 15 years old. Love that line from Saari. That's amazing. He goes to do the switch heel flip back 5-0, 180 out after that. Shout out to the guy who mentioned this one from this Adidas edit recently of Zach Saraceno. That was just about as beautiful as a switch flip can look. I'm thinking Mike Mo with actual some sort of stylish art form on it other than just doing it extremely clean. I love how he flicked it. It kind of shifties backside and then he rolls away clean. The people saying that he poses on his landings couldn't be more wrong. If you can switch flip down that many stairs and worry about how you pose your landing, you're so good it doesn't even matter that you pose your shit. Anyway, let's see it one more time in regular speed. Wow, that was beautiful, Zach. The kid's a ripper. I can't believe it. Here we have him in raw footy. We're going to do a couple Zach Saracenos because he's one of my favorites out. Not that big of a stair set, but it was just so good in this line right here. Another one that he does that kind of shifties backside as he's catching it. He couldn't have landed that any more crisply. That was so beautiful. I like how his arms kind of go right to his side after. And then this one down the switch flip, we talked about this in Style Part 1. It's about as good as you can land a switch flip down something that big. I like the casual roll away. It can't be easy with that brick run-up, but he made it look beautiful nonetheless. The slow-mo really solidifies how perfect that was. He landed in both pockets, front, nose, and tail there. I don't know if it can be performed any better than that. That was so sick. Skate more. I think this is Zered Bassett. He has that amazing part he shares with Booznitz where they skate to Black Sabbath. Look at how good he caught that. He shifties the opposite way. I love that first angle, how it was filmed. The silhouetted Zered switch flipping over the fence. You can see his back foot kind of ankle break out, and his front foot flicks it so well for a switch flip. It doesn't even really look switch except for his shoulders and the way he's floating through space. That was such a good one. Wow, I love that part. This is skateboarding. Yeah, we had to include this one. Absolutely. Heath, one of my favorites. Doesn't get any crispier than that. It just flips so fast. He catches it all back foot, slaps it down. He's going to have his own edit. Here's 411 issue number 11, I believe, Tom Penny. Love the way he straight-legged lands on this. This is so long ago. His style is unbelievable. He has all that confidence. Bastien talking about how he had always had confidence on everything. You can see it in that switch flip. Stay Gold, Figgy. This one's just giant. I don't know. I don't think it's bad style. I don't think it's great style, but I do like Figgy. He's usually not a flip trick or down shit, but something about this one is just, I just love it. It's a Reynolds spot that he decides to take switch. It doesn't fully look switch the way it flips, but his body totally looks switch, which is kind of beautiful in its own way. Honeymoon. Dylan Jaeb, how could you not include this one? He also does that backside shifty thing, but I love the way it slaps his back foot and his front foot is just hovering over it like a switch ollie north. That was so fucking perfect. And then this one, the not Dylan Jaeb part, you can really see the shifty on it. It just flipped kind of slow and so perfect, and the way he just stomps it, it's very reminiscent of that Cromer one we saw at the beginning. He just stands straight up right after he lands it because he stomps it so well. Baker 3, you might have seen this one before. A legendary one. Greco's not my favorite, but I can appreciate this huge Venice Beach switch flip over that rail. Everyone knows PJ did a switch frontside flip, but switch flip might be gnarlier to take it through that grate in the landing there, that little ditch. Anyway, think skateboards, dedication, Phil Shao. I love how he sets up and on this one, how quickly he does, and the way he doesn't bend his knees very much. It was so beautiful. PJ Ladd's Wonderful Horrible Life. I feel like almost every part in this, someone has a beautiful switch flip. There's that Gallant one on flat ground, but let's check this one out down the stairs. It almost over-rotates. He catches it so perfect. Loved the huge knee bend. Then Jereme Rogers, beautiful switch flip for a little 14-year-old kid. I can't believe how much that kid was ripping at the time. And then that one's even bigger. Anyone from Bastien, can you let us know how big that drop is there? That's a sick-looking gap. I like how it's filmed at night. And then, of course, PJ, this amazing line. He just does this weird looking switch flip. Couldn't have been any more perfect flipping. And then he is the king of switch flip shifting. I think anybody can admit that. Doing it on flat ground is ridiculous. Let's stick with a Boston skater. We just saw Gallant. I don't know how to say his name still, but that switch flip was so good in Transworld First Love. I can't believe how well he caught that. I love the way he landed too. And then this one on flat, that's probably my top 3. That one was just so beautiful for flat ground. I can't exactly explain it. His arms don't even move. Really sorry. Let's look at some more PJ. Of course, the one down the 13 in SF. That was about as perfect as they come. I liked how he stomped it so clean, but it looked like the force of a curb. He's so good. And now I think this is Sean Malto. He takes it down. Usually people skate that stair set. He goes over that ramp there. I don't think he could have been any more casual on it. He's not my favorite style artist, but he is extremely good at landing things clean. He didn't even move his body. He was so confident on that whole thing. The open button shirt, pretty sick. And then this one is kind of sketchy. It's good to see him have to try on something. That was huge, though. It looked like he popped about waist high on that one. Caught it a little weird, kind of rocket, and it was beautiful. Every single second of it was amazing. Look at that shit. Menikmati. Yeah, we need some more Tom Penny here. That one on flat was just so casual. He hardly even popped it, but made it look so good. A little bit of rocket on it. This one, before he does the switchboard slide to regular on that handrail, just flips so interesting. He flips it so late and catches it so perfect. And, of course, the mushroom flip, the one over the rail at San Guido, one of the best switch flips of all time. I know I said he's overrated, but he's still one of my favorites. And then Arto in the same video. This one's absolutely legendary. He's going so fast. He pops over that curb. Look how far he lands past it. He just caught it so crisply. I love how his feet don't... He doesn't do the ankle breaker thing at all, but he also doesn't just do the straight heel clicker thing that a lot of people do. It's just his front foot kicks out, stays out, catches it back-footed, about as perfect as it can be. I grew up watching this one. That was one of my favorite videos as a kid for sure, and I love the Costin ones. Back to flip, sorry. This is another amazing one. Still with Arto, the Santa Monica triple set's one of my favorite of all time. I don't know, something about how it flipped. The nose was lower than the tail. It sucked up to his back foot. What if? I think this is Ronnie Creager in the blind video. Looks like a Phoenix bump over some rocks. So perfect. Didn't really look switch. That guy's so good, it's ridiculous. It's hard to quantify how good Creager is. And then 20-shot sequence, Lavar McBride. Look at how casual this is. The marathon line champion himself. He has a lot of good switch flips on flat in this video, but I like that barrel banks one. And then how weird this one kind of goes around his front foot and he still catches it somehow on the stair set to flat. Since day one, this is Chima. I'm sure that's a spot that's extremely hard to skate in person. Chima's so good. He makes everything look easy. I wish he had done a switch flip in that newer video he put out for Vans, but he didn't. And then SB Chronicles Volume 2. Shane O'Neill's so good at switch flipping, I had to find a transition one. It doesn't get any more ankle breaker or slap the back foot than that. That was so fucking sick, it's ridiculous. Yeah, right. McCrank, one of my favorite skaters of all time. He can skate fucking everything. He'd switch crook a handrail and skate transition. That's a lengthy double set at night. Beautiful catch. Subject to change. This is a Jerry one, another one of my favorites right here. Just the whole way it flips, the baggy-ass pants, the big puffy shoes that can't be easy to skate in. It slaps his back foot kind of in the middle of the board, and then he recorrects it very quickly, rolls off the curb very stylishly. That was so sick, Jerry. That's one of my favorites. Lost and Found, Nick Jensen. I love his switch flips. He does a couple and some lines in this video, in this part, but I really like this one down that 3 block. It just flips so odd. And then blind video, Grant Patterson. We got to have some Canadian gangsters in here. Look how big that stair set is. It definitely looks switch the way his body is positioned, but it flips like it's not a switch flip. He also does a beautiful kick flip in that video part. Cody McIntyre, I mean, you got to talk about this guy, the T1000 part. Look at how good that is. He does that late shifty. I think he's on that Shane O'Neill level. And Tony Tave, there's just a few guys who can really backside shifty it that well. Dylan Jaeb. Firm can't stop. Javier Sarmiento over the table. Not quite as good as Keenan's, but beautiful nonetheless. His style is so good. I love how he barely even bends his knees. He's so casual. In Bloom, a young P-Rod. Young P-Rod is one of my favorite skaters of all time. This one where I think it's raining when he comes out of the overhang there. He caught that so fucking good. At the time period when this came out, that was one of the biggest switch flips I'd ever seen downstairs, and he caught it so well. I think Ty Evans is on the filming on one of those angles, and it just looks beautiful. Everything about this one, it's probably in my top 5. I don't know. It's hard to quantify all these switch flips. All of them are so different and so sick, but I love young P-Rod. Expedition Alone, you may have heard of Stefan Janowski. Look how sick this one is. He was so good back then. He's so good now. But before he even got on Habitat, when he was riding for Expedition, he had so much style, even in the baggier clothing, the Appleyard circas he's wearing. And then in Origin, he has a couple sick ones. This one up the curb that kind of doesn't flip all the way, almost primos it, but still makes it look good. Love that line, too. And then this one, I think it was a Transworld cover off the bump over the pole there in New York. I don't think the angle does it justice. That's one of the gnarliest switch flips I think ever done. I can't believe he cleared over that off that shitty bank. And then Transworld IE, legendary video. If you don't know this one, you need to watch it. Pops switch flip down this double set. I don't know, it's kind of weird. It's something about how his front foot is past the board and he still catches it perfectly. It's time, Tony Tave. It is time to talk about Tony Tave. Look at how he backside shifted on that. That was so sick. I think he's one of the most underrated flip trick artists of all time. This part is amazing. So is his This Is My Element part. And then this switch flip down a triple. I think that's the one Bastien switch heel flipped in Really Sorry. Either way, he's going so fast and he made it look so casual. I love Tony Tave. Fully Flared, you probably know this one. Mike Moe, he almost died landing this one. This one's ridiculous. I love the high-quality filming. One of the greatest intros of all time, one of the greatest videos of all time. But as far as the way it flicked and everything, I think he has better ones when he's younger in Forecast. 15 years old. This is one of the best switch flips I've ever seen, and then the one coming up is even better. That one was just way sick. I love Anything at Night. And then this one, I made a short called Crispiest Switch Flips Ever, and it had this, and I didn't even want it to blow up, and it has like 60,000 views and a bunch of people talking shit on me for not knowing switch flips. I just clipped it from one of the first videos I did. It's just one of the most amazing looking switch flips. It's not my favorite. It's just crispy as hell. Slaps the back foot. Nose is lower than the tail. He's so casual when he pops and when he lands. It's just amazing for a 15-year-old or really for anyone. And then the Deathwish video, another one of the best ones ever. John Dixon, I think he can switch flip anything. I love that one over the rail, backside going switch. But this one down the NYC block is just fucking phenomenal. The way he ninjas his front and ninjas his back. He's Bruce Lee in midair right there. Doesn't get any more proper than that when it comes to ankle breaking switch flips, except... Well, look at the flick on that Suffer the Joy one from Nick Trapasso. But the flick on that was amazing. But the ankle breaking on his Prevent This Tragedy one, I think, might be the only one better than John Dixon's. Look at how fucking far his front foot kicks out, and his ankles couldn't be any more corked right there. Absolutely beautiful, Nick. Wish that guy didn't fall off, but it looks like he's living an all right life now, owning a couple houses in Phoenix. One of my favorites ever. Oh, my God, that never gets old. And I think the only way we can top that is a guy named Keenan Milton. This Yeah Right one, of course, is legendary, the Roseville triple set. Flip kind of front side right there. He makes it look so good, and that was giant for the time period, especially a guy who didn't really skate a lot of stairs, at least not triple sets. It was so beautiful. And I think he does do the best switch flip of all time. If we have to quantify the best one, it's going to be his one in Mouse over the lunch table. The way he pops it, the way it slaps his back foot off flat ground, he straight legs the landing. Look at it. I put this one in the most slow-mo of anything. It slaps his feet so perfectly. The white shoes, the casual roll away. It just doesn't get any better. And we're going to end this whole video with that. So I'm sure I missed a shit ton of switch flips. This is all from my memory. That was 12 and a half minutes straight of switch flips from every time period. I remember a really good Mark Gonzalez one from the late 80s or the early 90s, and I couldn't find that one. But, you know, any one that I missed, throw it in the motherfucking comments, and we'll talk about it another time, or maybe we won't. Maybe we'll talk about switch tray flips or nollie tray flips or switch hard flips another time. I just wanted to do a mixtape of switch flips, one of my favorite tricks ever. And maybe we'll get back on the gnarliest skaters list, or maybe we'll do something completely fucking left field next week. Anyway, have a good night.